Over 2 decades in production. Star power before they were stars. Masked Mutilator, the movie, is about to hit the big screen with horror, gore, suspense, non-stop action, beautiful girls, pro wrestlers, and more. This is the Masked Mutilator Podcast with your host, executive producer and co-screenwriter, Dale Schneck.
Welcome to our podcast. I hope you'll join us frequently each and every week as we share insider information about a very special horror movie. We're lucky to have my special guest, Doug Yasinsky, back for a return visit. Doug is the CEO of World Cage Fighting Championships. He's also a former pro wrestler, and he's one of the stars of Masked Mutilator. Now, in the movie, Doug plays a no-nonsense cook in a group home for juveniles, and throughout the movie, many of the rebellious teens are mysteriously disappearing. Whether his character has anything to do with that or not, you have to see the movie. So, Doug, welcome back.
Thanks, Dale. How you doing?
I'm doing terrific. Okay, could you tell us a little bit about a flashback scene in the movie where there's a wrestling match in which one of the wrestlers is killed? Now, first of all, where was that location? And how did you, I think you got that location for us.
Right. Yeah, I think that location, if I'm not mistaken, was in a car dealership garage up in Palmerton, Pennsylvania. I knew they had a wrestling ring already set up in there, and obviously we needed a ring for the shoot. So we all went up there. I remember briefly, we called our good friend Mike Mittman, who was a referee for the WWF, I believe it was at the time, and then turned into WWE. We needed a referee, so we had him come up. His son Steve came up, did the announcing for us. I think we had another wrestler, a local wrestler named Jack Hill, come in, do the job. He's the one that died in the ring. And that's pretty much how that came about. It was just calling people that we knew in the wrestling industry to get involved in the movie. Mm-hmm.
It added so much, I think, to the flashback, because in the movie, we can tell you, the rumor is that a former pro wrestler did kill someone in the ring and then was banned from pro wrestling. So according to our script, which I co-wrote with Ed Plugardi, the concept was, where could he get a job? Big, strong guy. So he gets a job as a house parent in a group home for rebellious juveniles or kids who can't be living with their parents because of some issue. And so that scene sort of is the rumored version of what the kids have heard in the home about the house parent. And for some of the more rebellious kids in the home, they think he is a killer. And we're not ever sure whether that flashback was true or not.
Right. Well, we're sure. It's just the people that are going to come see the movie are going to have to find out what's going on.
Now, tell us more about, you mentioned Mike Mittman.
Right.
And tell people how, he has been seen all over the world and around the nation, and give them some clues, because they'll probably say, oh, yeah, I've seen Mike Mittman.
Well, he was a referee, like I said, for WWF back in the day. And I think, not knowing 100% of the story, probably they used to do TV tapings in the Lehigh Valley. And because he's from the area and was a pro wrestling referee, and plus I wrestled a lot in the local area during my days, so I got to know him, and it was just a natural fit.
Yeah, I recently was interviewed, and an interviewer asked, well, where did this story generate? And I said it generated from the incident back in 1983 when Jimmy Superfly Snuka was at least interrogated by the Whitehall police in Pennsylvania about the death of his girlfriend. That story has now since gone national. So the interviewing person was saying, well, what was the genesis? That was it. I thought, what if, as a writer, Ed and I thought, what if a wrestler were actually a murderer? And then what would happen to his career? What would kind of job would he get? Blah, blah, blah. So we're not doing the Jimmy Snuka story at all.
Right.
But that was the genesis, putting in my mind and in Ed's mind, have we ever seen a movie where a pro wrestler was accused of being a murderer?
Yeah, it's like I said last show, you hit two genres with that, which is phenomenal and which pretty much lacks and what makes this horror movie unique.
Yeah, I think so. We didn't want to do another Friday the 13th where everybody goes to the same camp every year to be slaughtered. We wanted to do something very different. So, Carl, I'm calling you by your character name.
You know what? I haven't been called Carl in 20 years.
Oh, Carl the Cook. Yeah. Such a good character. We should probably caution people, too, that this is going to be a film for mature audiences. Obviously, it's not rated yet, but when it is rated, it will probably be R, because we do have extreme violence, we have adult language, and we have female nudity in the film. So we would like people to know that so they're not misled. This is not a film to take kids to who are under high school age, at least. Would you agree, Doug?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we hit the horror movie hat trick with this, and we did it well. You know, and I think what's more important is we have a legitimate story behind the movie itself. You know, you see all these other slasher movies where, all right, let's go out and kill high school kids. It's the same stuff, blah, blah. Yep. Different budgets, but, the writers, you're included, put some thought into making a story out of it that, people will follow, along with enjoying the blood, the language, the fighting, and the women.
I just want to give one quick tip of the hat again to Ed Pulgardi, who now works in California, produces a lot of motion pictures. Ed and I co-wrote the screenplay, and Ed has done other horror movies like Laid to Rest, The Ghost Maker. He just did a Lifetime movie called Dark Desire, which was the highest rated feature in the past year for Lifetime. So, I think we're going to pull some extra elements out of the horror genre that have not been seen before.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and it's great. It shows that the people behind the scenes in this movie have advanced their careers as long as the people in front of the cameras have advanced their careers. Not only do we have Glenn Hetrick, we have James DeBella, who was in Detroit Rock City, among,
Eli Roth's Cabin Fever.
Absolutely. I mean, he just done so many great movies himself. And then we have, Brick Bronski, who was a Trauma star, did many feature films for Trauma. So we have that's another thing we have over other horror movies that are out there is we do have some star power.
Doug, thank you very much. And folks, tune in the next time for another star from Masked Mutilator.
For more podcast episodes, to be a part of Masked Mutilator, if you have the guts. And for exclusive behind-the-scenes bonus material, go to maskedmutilator.com. That's maskedmutilator.com. Or else.
This has been a Steve Mittinen social media creation. SteveMittenensocialmedia.com.